So it looks like Cyberpunk has gotten a new game director. So Gabriel
Gesundheit.
Amatangelo, who joined the CD Projekt in January 2020 as creative director, has taken over from studio head Adam Badowski. I'm actually surprised it took this long. The other dude probably should have been fired immediately after the clusterfuck that happened. Obviously, it's probably not just the game director's fault. Probably a lot of the ship the game probably has a lot to do with shareholders and all that. But this is how things go. On to one guy, he takes a rap, he gets fired. So the fact that it took 5 months before at least making a public move to show that they're addressing change, whether they're doing that or not, is beside the point. These companies are all about optics. And so it's surprising to me that, they didn't take this step already. But it's happening now. It makes sense. You can't have a clusterfuck that was Cyberpunk 2077, the most anticipated, look forward to game in the history of gaming. It comes out and it's one of the worst fucking releases of any game ever. You can't have that kind of shit going on. So it's good they at least made this optical change, and hopefully this guy will know what he's doing better. Hopefully he'll they'll put deadlines and stuff that are actually realistic.
If they have the luxury
for the developers to meet.
If they have the luxury to do so. If they have
the luxury to do
so. Kind of the same thing happened with Anthem, where they ended up having to finally fire some people and hire some new people. In these big AAA developer studios where they've got, tons of money wrapped up, there's no room for people who kind of know what they're doing. Like, you need the best people available, like the top tier. You can't just have someone who kind of stumbled their way in and fooled everybody into thinking that they were good enough. No, you need someone who's actually good enough. And those people are few and far between. It's not like you can just go hire just some random guy, It's hard, man, and it's amazing that video games are even made at all. So
it's a lot of moving parts.
It's a lot of moving parts, and like a game director, if I'm not mistaken, they're kind of like the orchestrator, where hey, programmers, we need this shit done by this time. Graphic artists, we need this shit done by this time. And so, like, they kind of have to kind of know everything that's going on and how to kind of synchronize it all to meet up at one singular point at a given time.
Yeah, and it takes like a creative, specific type of mind where if you have deadlines that are, are unrealistic, you got to have someone that really knows how to get people motivated, get projects lined up in a way that maximum efficiency can be used, so that you can get as great of a product as you can within the limited time that you have. So hopefully this Amatagello has that ability. Again, okay, so Adam Badowski wasn't let go. I thought he stepped down. I must have misread that. He's just moving over. So he's moving over as studio head, and only going to do that now. He's not going to be the game director. This will apparently allow him to focus more on one role, and they're going to move to a new strategy of multi-game development strategy. So I think what they've been doing is like their teams working on this game, but now they're going to try to get it set up to where, the art department's working on this game while the devs are working on this part of the game, and then kind of create a more assembly line approach that way. But we will see. They also have the roadmap out for CD Projekt Red, which looks like we got 1.2 by the end of 2021. We should get free DLC, multiple updates and improvements, and a free next-gen console update for the people on PS5s and Xboxes. So hopefully they that works out for them. I think they did do a lot of work They put a lot of work into the game. I checked it out a couple weeks ago after the 1.2, and I didn't have a ton of issues like a lot of people did because we're PC gamers, but a lot of the performance issues were definitely fixed, and then a lot of the really T poses and like some of just the dumbest bugs on the planet were fixed pretty good. There's still underlying problems with that game that I don't think can be fixed. I mean, the way the cars work, I mean, you had GTA. You see how they work in GTA. GTA 3, I believe they work better than they do in Cyberpunk 2077. So
I got used to them. They're not as tight.
Well, I'm not talking about driving. I'm not talking about the driving. I'm talking about the AI. How it doesn't know, like the cars will just disappear. They're not actually real objects, it seems like in the game. And then if you park your car on the road and leave, the cars will just sit there and never do anything, and they'll back up, and you can see the backup till they just start popping out of existence. And it's like, this is, I'm sure the programming of that is very complicated, especially in a game like this, but it already exists. It's like you already have the perfect model of how that's done. You can see what it should look like. So do that. I mean, you don't. It's like someone selling banana sandwiches, and you're like, I know, I'm gonna make a banana sandwich too, and sell it right next to it. But mine won't have any bananas. It'll just be bread.
They probably Rockstar Games probably keeps their code secret. So
absolutely.
Like you can
look at it.
You can look at it, but then you also have to figure out how to do it. It's sorcery.
Yeah. Well, I have trust that if you're running a game company that's gotten as big as CD Projekt Red, you could probably pay someone enough money to figure it out. You could find someone who's smart enough to figure it out. You could probably hire an old Rockstar dev or something.
Yeah, maybe.
So.
Yeah,
it's kind of ridiculous.
I had a lot of fun with Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm a PC gamer as well. I had a few graphical issues, like multiple items spawning during cinema scenes. But the only game-breaking thing that ever happened to me was one mission. It was like a side mission, so it didn't break the main story. But something happened in one of the buildings, and it just broke the mission. Like, there was no way I could ever complete the mission. I tried to do a workaround to try to figure out how to get around it and complete it, but it was just impossible, So that was the biggest problem I had with that game, which is very minute compared to what console players experienced. I did a review on Cyberpunk 2077, and I was like, yeah, it's a great game, not realizing that all the console players got screwed. So
yeah, but that is, I think, like a lot of people with the like CD Projekt Red thing, and I think there's extra vitriol because it's like the Blizzard thing that we were talking about before, but we trusted them. They had done so well, they were saying all the right things, to then have this be a product. And the biggest problem though isn't that they released a buggy game too early. I get it, they pushed it back like 3 times, it wasn't coming together. They probably were forced to put it out. But when they purposely didn't send the code to like the Xbox code and the PS4 codes to people until the day of, and you weren't allowed to show any footage of that until that is hiding. You are hiding the fact that your game does not work at all on those consoles, and you are lying through omission to those people and stealing their money. And it's incredibly fucked up. What they should have done is released it on PC first and said, look, we're sorry, or Xbox and PS5s. Look, we're sorry, these ones came out first, but we need a little more tweaking and optimization to get it to run on these old machines. Guess who loves that? Like, not all the gamers love it, but the people at Sony and Microsoft love it, because now it's pushing people towards buying the new consoles if they want to play the game a little early. And then give the older one a couple of extra months, to get those optimization down to where you could actually run the fucking game.
I didn't.
That's just credit.
I didn't hype up Cyberpunk 2077 as much as most people did, and maybe this comes with being an older gamer as well. But like, CD Projekt Red was known for the Witcher series, and that type of game is a billion miles away from the type of game that Cyberpunk 2077 is. You know, you would expect a company like Obsidian or Bethesda, ZeniMax, the publisher, to put out a game like that. CD Projekt Red never did. So they're newbies. They were newbies in that space. So it's not even though you could be the most experienced developer on the planet at like first person shooters. Then you go to making a real time strategy game. You're kind of starting off at not ground zero, but you're not making a first person shooter game anymore. It's completely different. So
yeah, it's kind of like being a professional athlete. If I'm a professional football player, I'm probably better at basketball than the average person, just because I'm physically fit and I have agility and stuff trained to the highest level. But I'm not a professional basketball player, So like my skills at football don't necessarily translate perfectly into basketball.
Precisely.
So I kind of look at it, like that.